Field Report. I'm Ann Mazinga, and on today's Research Field Guide, we are taking notes on September's Retail Club Conference with its co-CEO and co-founder, Caroline Farley. Caroline, thanks for coming. How are you?
I am so well. Thank you so much for having me, and it is so fabulous to see you.
I know you from your days back at Shop Talk, back in the early days, but there's probably a lot of people who are meeting you for the very first time. So would you mind just kind of giving a little bit of your background and then share with the Retail Field Report audience a little bit about your latest venture, Retail Club?
Before Retail Club, I spent a decade building retail communities and events. Was part of the founding team at Shop Talk and Grocery Shop. And Retail Club is our newest venture that we launched with an entirely new outlook. I think looking at the past 10 years, not only the technology shifts and within the industry, but also how events are run. We wanted to build something that was completely different and kind of turn events on its head. And, I'm just going to come out and say it. Events are broken. That became very clear to me over time.
Right.
People don't come to conferences because they love sitting in ballrooms, listening to speakers. They come to meet people. They come to collaborate, to co-create the future together. As I'm sure, Anne, you've experienced, the best ideas, partnerships, careers are built through conversations and human-to-human connections.
It seems like a great idea in theory. What makes it difficult about making that happen, Caroline? Like it can't be easy or everybody would be doing it. Like when you and Christina were putting together this idea of Retail Club and how to execute on that human connection, what tenets did you use? Like what had to be true about this experience, and what's the extra legwork that you've had to put in to make this happen?
We didn't want to just build a better AI event. We wanted to build a more human one where, yes, in the era of AI, there is that humanizing aspect of it. And there is that relationship building. I think in terms of, what we did is we had hundreds and hundreds of conversations before we launched. And it was over a year ago where we launched our first, launched Retail Club and had our first retreat, which is different than the festival that we're migrating into. But we truly looked at what is going on within the industry. And we were going through a once in a generational technological shift, 100 times more important and impactful than what we did 10 years ago when we launched Shop Talk in the digital era. I mean, AI is affecting all businesses, all job functions, all sectors. And it's a societal, cultural shift that, we really need to understand. And it's not a short term, it's a long term, 5-10 years down the road. So kind of looking at how do we help people move from and bring a community together that moves from, roadmaps and pilots to full on transformation. I think another thing too is how do we do it in a completely different format? Looking at how industry measures success by number of exhibit booths, number of sponsors, number of attendees, number of speakers, and this obsession with speaking, I think is broken. Thought leadership happens throughout. And we wanted to give that opportunity to allow everybody to be a thought leader, not just on stage. You're not, not everybody has to be behind a podium to contribute or to be part of the conversation. And this festival format, all outdoor with various different formats and giving autonomy to attendees to really create their own journey based on what their ROI and return on time is.
So each person attending is really customizing, like, I'm going to this conference. I want to make sure that I know how to deploy AI so that I can have a more efficient, marketing operation. Like I can define it almost to that level of specificity.
100%. And we've introduced these breakthrough experiences where, again, thought leadership happens throughout. I mean, Anthropic hosting, Claude workshops, or AWS Retail Grounds hosting fireside chats with customers and partners. You can really curate your own journey and get very specific into how you want to interact, who you want to interact, and what that format is. Instead of being, herded from an exhibit hall to, stage content, passively listening, we provide you, various different formats, whether it's 1-to-1, 1-to-8, 1-to-15, 1-to-25, where you can contribute, learn, and collaborate. You'll hear me use collaborate and co-create a lot because that's really kind of the DNA of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that, again, and I think is a testament to how much work went into what you and Christina are doing here to make sure that this format is flexible and you get those smaller conversations. That's what I hear from so many people attending conferences is like, it's the conversations at lunchtime or, over happy hour that are the most valuable.
People don't change their thinking in rows of chairs. They change it in conversation, whether it's a mojito making class, a surfing lesson, or it is, a workshop or a fireside chat. And, you look around and there's like this wow factor of everything going on that's contributing to these, relationships and ways that you can work together.
Those are the takeaways. Those are the big things that at the end of the 3 days or whatever, it's really those moments that made all of the difference. But I think it's really important that we focus on like, yes, 1-to-1 is an option here. You don't know how to build an agent, but you're tasked with it. Like I talked to somebody the other day who was like, I had to Google how to create an agent to do my work. Like the fact that you have, the Claude team there to like teach you that, and that I can come and ask that question. Like, Caroline, this is so freeing.
This is a place where you come to really establish relationships and have honest and open conversations. And that's where kind of the magic starts.
How do you prepare partners for this? Like, are there non-negotiables here when it comes to the partners that are involved? Like you are so involved in making sure that you curate the right partners that are not going to be the badge scanners. Like, what do you tell them, and how do you set up partners who are still thinking about like, how do I participate and how do I bring my brand into this event?
I get on every single call with every single partner, and I kind of start off with, do you want passive introductions or do you want meaningful relationships? And understanding that this is not a badge scan. Yes, you're going to get badge scans, but this isn't a place where you get badge scans that go into an email campaign. This is where you come to be there to listen as well. Don't be there just to sell.
Yeah, that's I feel like I keep hearing that over and over again from the retailers and brands that I've been talking to. And that's actually one of the questions I've been asking in some of my interviews with some of these executives. It's like, what would you tell the partners that are trying to sell something to you right now? And the very simple thing is like, ask me a question instead of like launching into like the pitch of your product. Ask me a question about what I'm trying to figure out, and then like maybe back your product into the solution that I'm trying to look for right now, not the other way around. And it sounds like you're doing that with the curation of the partners that are going to be there.
And I think it's also giving them direction on who should be attending. It's not just, sales team. It's send executives. Like if you were to have 10 CEOs at a table for dinner, who would you send to have conversations, not just about your company and don't even mention it, but talk about the state of AI in retail and where it's going?
Who should attend this conference in your mind? It sounds like if I'm just starting out using an agent to help me in my work, I should come to this. It sounds like if I'm trying to, get feedback on how other retailers or brands are using AI or injecting AI, can I just come if I don't know how to even start with AI? Like, who are the ideal people for this conference or this experience? And what should they expect out of it? Like, how do they set themselves up or even pitch it to their teams?
We get that question a lot. And, I think, you can be AI adjacent, AI or core, AI curious. We've got a space for you. And this is where you come to figure out, not only professionally and for your business, but personally, what does this mean for you? How is this going to affect you? What does the future outlook look like? And we do take that ecosystem approach rather than the marketplace. So it's not just tech companies and retailers and brands, it's investors, it's media, it's consultants, agencies, industry leaders like yourself, who, all have something to contribute, but also something to learn.
Or it sounds like just get exposed to like what other people are doing so that you know what your customers' expectations might be. Like if you hear from like 3 other retailers at this thing, like, oh, we're using, agents for customer service, we're using agents for whatever, like, oh, if I'm a mass retailer, a grocer, or another mass retailer, like odds are your customers engaging with them and with AI in some capacity. Like maybe this is something to explore. Maybe this is something just to like understand from this sort of environment that you're building.
100%. I think it's also like putting ego aside. I mean, you're like, come together. Like nobody has the answers right now. And I don't think anyone ever is going to. There's no certain expert. So it's competitors coming together and sharing stories of what's working and what's not working.
What do you think are the best opportunities for someone to participate in Retail Club that will give them those like vulnerable spaces to ask those questions safely and in the comfort of friends and peers?
Our breakthrough meetings, which will power about 30,000 on-site 15-minute one-to-one speed date style meetings all through our double opt-in process. And those can go through multiple use cases. So it can be, hiring, it can be investment opportunities, it can be partnerships, sourcing new technologies, or just discovering new startups. Breakthrough Talks is our peer group discussions over breakfast that we help facilitate. We preset topics, and then it's kind of open dialogue. It's not moderated. It's really bringing together peers at their job level to talk, more open and honestly. So, media is not invited because we want people to be super, super open and honest in those conversations. And we find those super valuable. And then breakthrough experiences, which is just like, no other event has the power and the technology to do what we do, where we'll power, 75 to 100 breakthrough experiences, everything from networking dinners, receptions to, what we call what's the scoop, having a fireside chat over, ice cream and talking about, what's the scoop on, agentic payments.
Okay, Caroline, there are going to be some stage presentations, but even that you're thinking about differently. So tell me a little bit about what to expect from the, what people might think of as a more traditional conference experience.
Yeah, so we will have approximately 150 speakers on our stage content, but the stage speaking is really drilling down into specific use cases. So getting really like more in depth instead of just, a PR pitch and not, your traditional kind of panel discussion. So really kind of honing in on, beyond AI examples, beyond AI assistants, building agentic operating systems or building agentic workflows from scratch. So kind of still giving that, hard takeaway that's more tactical than it is and strategical than it is, just hearing about a demo or what your company's doing.
Right. Yeah, not the typical,
we all know how that goes.
Yes, not the typical pitch of just like, here's what we've done here, whatever. But like, that's what I'm so excited about, and I encourage people to check out the speaker list that they have posted on retailclub.com, because there are people on there and scheduled for these sessions that are going to go deep on how they're using AI, what applications they've done in a way that I don't think that we get in a typical conference setting. These are both you and Christina have been very rigorous about setting up the type of content that you're expecting and the takeaways that you're expecting the audience to get from these. So I'm super excited about that too.
Yeah, 100%. I think Christina probably touched on this before, but I think it's also seniority doesn't matter too. It's about the individual who's actually done and taken on that implementation or whatever it might be in the AI space, because they have that like hands-on knowledge where, CEO might not be as integrated in that part of it. So that's something we're really excited about. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what a what a difference and a benefit that you can actually get the experience. I mean, I guess whether it's in these one-on-one sessions that you can curate for yourself all the way up through the stage presentations, that you will actually get to hear from the people doing the work, which is not common and is so helpful, because then you can actually say or find that person afterward at the mojito making class like, oh my God, thank you for talking about that thing. Like, I didn't even realize that that was something that was possible. So I love that it's not just the, the top of the top speaking in generalities, but really focus on, drilling down into those specific use cases. This is going to be such a great event, Caroline. If people want to register, I assume they still can do that. Can you tell us where to go and kind of the logistics of showing up in Huntington Beach this September?
August 28th is the deadline to register to be part of our breakthrough programs that I mentioned. So you can go to retailclub.com to register. We have various different ticket types. Connect with me on LinkedIn or just email me. We are founder led. We want to make sure all the right people are there and the ecosystem's represented. So I'm here to help however I can. Just a quick call out to retailers and brands. We do have our hosted program where they can attend essentially budget free, free ticket and travel reimbursement of up to $1,250 to help kind of just offset some of the costs related to travel out of office. We want to make sure, again, barrier for entry is not a question for those that, are in need of a community like we built.
I will be there this September. You all should be too. Yes. Thank you so much, Caroline, for taking the time today to join us here on Retail Field Report, and check out our live coverage from the show that will be provided to you with the support of Simbi. And until next time, stay curious.